Hey guys, how's it going, PC gamers? Bobby here from ironhammers.org as usual, and today I'm not alone, which makes a difference for the YouTube channel. I'm joined here by Cary Evans of Matterdaddy. He's currently got a
That's right.
Kickstarter going along for his new device, which is called the WASDIO. And I don't know what you're describing it as. Is it an input device, a keyboard replacement? How are you guys actually describing it?
Yeah, that's fair. Basically, it's a type of joystick. Essentially, what it enables you to do is play a lot of the first-person games and RPGs. And what it does is it changes the game from being played with your fingertips using WASD or the WASD controls to go forward, back, side to side, etc. But instead of using a keyboard, you just use our game controller. So you still use a mouse on your right hand for looking around and your directional movement, kind of like how the mouse controls your head movement, which way you're facing, and the keyboard controls your feet. So it replaces essentially your feet, just to put it on your whole arm. So instead of using the tips of your fingers, you just get to naturally use a joystick. It has your palm down, so it mirrors a little bit of what your mouse is doing, and yeah, it changes it from being driven by your fingertips, your fine motor skills, to your whole arm. So if you want to go forward, you push forward. You want to go backwards, you pull back. So it just makes just a much more intuitive and fluid experience in the game. So
Excellent. So before I go into depth questioning you about the device itself, would you mind telling us a bit about your history and how Matterdaddy came about? I see you've got companies as huge as eBay and things like that on your resume, masters in human-computer interaction, which seems ideal for the device you're developing. Would you mind going into a bit about how?
Yeah, that's correct. So I have a master's in human-computer interaction from Carnegie Mellon. After that, I spent some time at eBay working as an interaction designer, working on customer experience, and that's really a software product. And all in all, I've had maybe over 15 years of designing products. So from eBay, I worked on at a company called Intuit over here. We have a big product called TurboTax that does people's taxes. And then I worked at a number of other companies like Qualcomm, which is a mobile device company. And yeah, so just really the whole time spent really going through the customer experience and trying to really make products easy to use, intuitive. And for this product, it was really cool because I was able to call upon a lot of the skills I learned in my master's program, the human-computer interaction, just with ergonomics and human factors, and going through pulling out some old textbooks and learning about hand sizes and the radius of grips and things like that. But basically, so that's a little bit about my background, and then the background of the product specifically. It started a while ago, but in short, I was playing Team Fortress. I'm okay at it. I'm not the best player, and I kept getting my butt kicked. And with the audio channel, you can hear who's doing the damage, and so it was. And I could tell whoever it was a boy. His voice hadn't cracked yet, so he hadn't gone through puberty. So
It's always the worst.
was salt on the wounds, and it added insult to injury. And for myself, what I noticed was, I know what I want to do, but I get flustered, and in the heat of battle, I just, my fingers can't move fast enough, and I can't find the keys. And the more I thought about it, it's really just touch typing under pressure is what we're doing. And I just thought, man, the typical quote, there has to be a better way. And so I wondered why people don't use a joystick on the left hand to control movement, because it seemed like it should work. So I got a joystick and I tried that out, but it felt funny. It felt like you're rubbing your stomach and patting your head, like your hands just didn't feel like they were working in stereo. And from that, I hacked apart the joystick, and then I got essentially a PVC pipe, because I'm pretty handy. I have a garage studio that I weld and do all sorts of fun stuff, and I love electronics. Dissected before it goes in the trash. So ripped the thing apart, and then I worked on just a PVC pipe, like a T-joint, here, let me put, this is one of the earlier ones. I don't know if you can see it. This is
Yeah,
the
we can
back
see it
side of
clearly.
it. But, and I just tried it just to see if it felt good. Like, did it feel any better doing it like that? And I tried that, and it felt really good. And I wondered, how come, like, am I onto something here? And then I grabbed my wife over, and it was, we were playing Left 4 Dead 2, so it was kind of a gory game, not the best game to put your wife on. She doesn't play video games at all. But I put her on, and literally, like, in less than a minute, she was able to move around really easily, start killing some zombies. And I just thought, there's no way that she could have done that with the keyboard. Like, it must be tapping into something, a little bit deeper than, just kind of these fine motor skills. And that was sort of the start of it. And then from that, I basically rewired all the electronics on it. And this again is the same early prototype, and I don't know if you can see, but I got a bunch of. This is just a breadboard, and then it's got the buttons on the side, and this was really the proof of concept, just to see whether it actually feels right. Does it feel good? And yeah, I worked from there, and after that, I just started working on different prototypes and flushing it out more.
Excellent. So what would you say are the sort of main benefits of that over a keyboard and mouse? Like, you speak a lot about in your Kickstarter video about like fine motor skills versus gross motor skills, and obviously gross not being discussed in this.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, like think of any vehicle in your head right now, and something that's fun to drive. So not like an aircraft carrier, but even like light speeders or things in Star Wars or motorcycles, cars. But if you think about how they're controlled, they're all using our arms and hands, and these are our gross motor skills. And these are actually, we have a baby boy now, and he's 1, and this is what he's learning right now. And it won't be till the age of about 3 that he learns his fine motor skills, where he can actually pick up a pen and write, start to write letters and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so it's
sure. My daughter's 4, and she's she's only just now being able to write and things like that, like accurately, and it does take a long while for that to develop, doesn't it? That's right.
Right. Yeah, and it's much more difficult for your, just your motor skill, just, your brain and whatnot. And so, like, going back to the vehicles, like, everything uses our big muscle movement. So we're designed in a way that's just a lot easier for us, right? Like, if you had a car today, they could design cars so they operated with the tips of your fingers if they wanted. Like, it's not technically infeasible, but if that's a word. But they don't. And so, yeah, this is just a way to kind of incorporate some of those gross skills to make it really, really easy to control. And actually, you just don't even think about it. And it's no longer about, scrambling for keys all over the place. Because I counted the keys in modern warfare. It's something like, it's close, I think it's 21 keys that your left hand is responsible for. So we're looking at taking away 4 of those. For those keys, and those are the keys that you're pretty much using 100% of the time, for movement.
Yeah, so aside from those 4, the WASD keys, you've obviously got some other buttons and stuff on there as well.
Correct.
Can you tell us a bit more about those and how they work, how they'll be programmed and such?
Yeah, so this is, you can see it here. So this is the side. Your hand just kind of reaches over.
Sorry, can you move it across to the center of the camera a little bit more? It's kind of cut off the way I've got it recording here. That's cool. Yeah, that's fine. Sorry.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, so there's 4 thumb buttons on the side, and it also comes with profiler software, basically software that enables you to customize these and to program it however you want. But the 4 side buttons, you can do whatever you want with them. But right now, you can change it for whatever game. But essentially, you press up on it, it'll make you jump. Press down, it'll make you squat. Right now, like in Call of Duty, we have forward, it does melee, and then backwards, you pull back here, and that'll reload the weapon. And then you have your fingertips for various other commands, things like picking up, switching weapons, like if you find a new weapon, and yeah. And there's 16 total, and then there's another set of 6 on the bottom, which are for anything you want, but typically your fingers do have to move to them. So they're things that you don't need instantaneously, like like your night vision goggles, or if you're pulling up the leaderboard or something like that.
Excellent. So with those buttons, do they program just correspond to a key on a keyboard? Is that how they will be kind of recognized by the game? Or?
So yeah, the short answer is yes. So like if you press up, for example, on the thumb pad, it sends into space, or if you press down, it'll do control, for example. And so yes, it's mapping to a key, and that's what the software does. It enables you to essentially assign keystrokes to any of the buttons.
Excellent. So that should work with any game that works with a keyboard then, like that. Like there's not going to be any compatibility problems.
Yeah.
And also,
the other piece about it is just, each game has their own set of keystrokes assigned to it, right? And there's a lot of overlap with WASD, but there's some differences here and there. So what we're doing is we're creating a whole series of profiles for each different game, so you don't have to go in there and configure every single game. It'll come out of the box with it pre-programmed. You can obviously go in there and tweak it as you want. And also what we're doing is we've created a web service so that you can upload profiles and share them with everybody else. So for example, let's say, Black Ops 5 comes out, or 3, I guess it would be the next one. But instead of having 1,000 people go out and create, a new profile for this, just one person in theory has to do it, upload it, and that'll get propagated to everybody else. And the same where it's really important is with all the indie games, and so that'll give us the breadth. So what that prevents us from doing is, having everybody rely on us for creating every single profile out there, but it can be really driven by the community, and we can get that long tail of games.
Excellent. And I saw also on your website you spoke of the degrees of how much you push it forward to move around, and how you're trying to set it up so that you can sprint by pressing it further forwards, so it will kind of activate the shift and the W key at the same time. Is there any plans where you could make it so that developers can actually program it into their game to work with that device, like so it will just work like an analog device? Is that something you've thought about at all?
Absolutely, yeah. That's the longer term plan for it. And there's a lot of games, obviously, that you can use the analog from your regular gamepad.
Sure.
Right now we don't have that. It's more programming, and it's also diving in deeper with the games, because a lot of the games are set up so that you're either using one or the other. Like you're either using the keyboard and the mouse, or
it's
you're
very tricky to find a game that will let you use the joypad and the keyboard and mouse at the same time, right?
So it's something that it would be awesome to have it fully analog, so that you get 100 and some odd degrees of forward. But right now we're just going to look at emulating it. So say like 0 to 10% forward, it'll pulse a W so that you can creep forward a little bit, like if you need to creep up to the edge of the cliff or whatnot. And then the big chunk in the middle, up to like 90%, would be just a W, and then that final 10% would be Shift W or run. So that's what we're going to be working on in the short term.
And I guess all that kind of stuff will be completely customizable by the player as well.
Yes, absolutely. Everything's totally customizable in the profiler. You can change it to do, to map however you want. This piece is going to be a little bit trickier, but working with percentages, conceptually it's pretty easy to grasp. And so it's just coming up with the nomenclature of how do we get that to be, so it's really intuitive for people to do it. So it's not some cryptic, set of commands that you have to put in. So that's going to be the tricky part.
Yeah, I see. So moving on to Kickstarter, you've decided to use Kickstarter for your method of funding, I guess you'd call it.
Right.
Could you tell us a bit about why you chose that, and how it's treated you so far? Like, has it been like a good choice, or?
Yeah. So basically, we chose Kickstarter. It's with hardware projects. It's kind of a chicken and an egg problem. Is I went through. We have entrepreneurship programs down here in San Diego, just like, many parts of California, and I'm sure they have them over there in the UK. And basically, in order to get funding for a product, they want to see customers. And in order to get customers, you have to have really deep pockets. And so for this, especially in the gaming world, for this product, we don't have any customers, or we didn't have any customers. Because we didn't have a product. So it's kind of like this catch-22 that we were in. And we looked at Kickstarter as, it's just a great way to put the product out there, to get feedback on it, and really it's a test to see if we can drive eyeballs there, to see if it's something that people want. And if people really want it, then awesome. It gives us enough money to pay for all the tooling and everything else, and get it to their door. And if it doesn't, then that's that's great feedback for us as well. So
that's what was actually going to be my next question, sort of to play devil's advocate a little. What would you, have you got any backup plans if Kickstarter doesn't reach its goal?
We haven't crossed that bridge yet, and so we're, our fingers are crossed that it makes it. And so if right now it closes January 1st, so New Year's Day. So when that day rolls around, we'll have to, if it doesn't happen, I don't know yet. I'm trying not to think about that too much, but yes, I'll have to go back.
How far are you in at the moment?
Pardon?
How far are you in the game at the moment? Are you percentage-wise towards your goal? Are you making headway towards it?
We're like just under target. We need to pick up steam. But so the first couple days, the first day it went well because we were on Kickstarter as a new project, and then it got out. It was no longer new, and we're really working hard on just getting press to write about it. And so that's what our focus is now. And so it's been steady. I think we're on track. When I look at, there's a couple tools that you can use. I think we're on track for about 100,000, and our goal is 175. Just that's our break-even point. So yeah, we have a little bit of work to do, but we're optimistic, and we're gonna try our best just to get coverage and upload some new videos and just keep people engaged. So
totally. Well, hopefully things like this will help you achieve that.
Yep.
Indeed. And talking of the Kickstarter and where you are now, what stage of development with the actual product itself are you at? Is it ready? Sort of like, is the one you showed me, was that the final product you've got there? Like, is that how it's going to be?
So this one, that's it's a prototype, and so what that is basically we've done all the circuits inside, like the PCBs or the printed circuit boards. We've done the layout of that. There's a microcontroller inside that communicates with your controller, or with your PC, basically what talks the USB to your computer. So we have that all programmed. We've obviously done the industrial design, and this is just a one-off. So basically what it is, it's printed, and it's very, very close to what would come off the assembly line. It also gives us a chance to play with it a little bit more. So I would say, there are a few tweaks here and there that we'd like to make before it's finalized. And there are things like, on the, minor things of, like, on the bottom, just moving the feet out just a little bit. There's a little bit more room we can get out on the side for more stability. Also, the color didn't come out quite how we wanted. That we have the black and, that light gray. We want to darken that up a little bit just to make it a little charcoal. It makes it look just a little bit better. So, there's some small things like that still have to be tweaked, but, it's mostly there.
Excellent. So if you reach your goal on January 1st when it comes around, is there an idea of how long before people might actually be able to get one in their hands? And
yeah, the target is April. So we're looking at, April to get it out in people's hands.
Excellent. And I see $85 is your cost for I think it's the lowest one where you can get a actual device on the Kickstarter. Is that around about what you suspect the retail price to be once it actually launches? Or?
Yeah, the retail, this is the Kickstarter price, so the retail might be a little, $10 more, but
Sure.
Ballpark, same price.
Excellent. Sounds great. And I think that's just about everything I had to ask. Well, there was one final question, and that was, what would you say to the people who are absolutely adamant that their keyboard and mouse can never be beaten? Obviously, the PC Gaming Master Race is very particular with their devices. What would you say to them?
Well, it's don't knock it till you try it. Once you try it, we had customers in for customer testing. We brought them in. One kid was, mouse and keyboard guy for a long time. And what was really exciting for him, we put him through, there's a time course in Call of Duty, put him through that, and he got his best time using the WASDIO.
Wow.
And so that was super cool. So yeah,
Impressive.
definitely try it first, and let you decide.
Excellent. So there's definitely something there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're excited.
Definitely, I'm excited to see how it goes. I hope you reach your goal and everything else. So if people want to check it out, where's the best place for them to come and find you online? I've got your Twitter address up on the screen here for the video, but where else can people find you?
I mean, obviously a Kickstarter, if you search for WASDIO, that's WSDIO, or there's our website, Matterdaddy.com. Yeah, those are two best spots.
Excellent. And is there anything else at all you'd like to add before you've got the limelight, so to speak, the small limelight of Iron Hammers? But
yeah, that's all right. Well, just once again, check us out on Kickstarter, check our website, and take a look at the videos. And we're just really excited to have people take a look at it and get their feedback. So appreciate it.
Brilliant. Well, I wish you all the best with it. I hope it all goes well. And thanks so much for your time. Even though it's 8 o'clock in the morning over there, very early rise.
Got the whole day ahead of me. So, all right. Well, thank you very much.
Okay, have a great day. Thanks a lot.
You too.